Hello, Dave. Today is Saturday, the 9th of April, 2022. I am the Bro 9000, and I trust you are all functioning well today. Today, we are going to a happy place and discuss The Spy Who Loved Me, starring the great Sir Roger Moore, Barbara Bach, and directed by Louis Gilbert. Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Brown, and welcome to the show. I trust you are all very well. A lot to get through today, so it's just a straight, if I can pronounce my words, just a straight film review. We'll probably do the weekly bullshit tomorrow evening. So let's start as we mean to go on then. A lot to get through. Shall we get the guests out? I think we should. First up, set your Jedi Power Wands to stunning and brave. Your Photoshop automation to full power. He's an ambassador for Wuhan. We have the wonderful, not Brian Young.
Hey. Good evening, Brown. Good evening, chat. How are we all?
Pretty good. Are you good, my friend?
I'm pretty good. I'm feeling pumped for this one. Brown, yourself?
Oh yes. Was it all those fags?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Yes. You good then? Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's been a hellish night. I haven't slept a lot, but I'm we a little iron brew keep me going, and I'm doing well for this one.
Original recipe?
No, I can't get that anywhere. I'm afraid.
Oh dear. So you're looking forward to this, yes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you know what my next question is?
I really do not, but I think you should get the next guest out.
I think we should also. Next, I'll start again. Next, back by popular demand, meaning me. He's slumming it again on this channel. It's the posh boy himself, the wonderful. He's muted, lost Chord.
He's not muted anymore. I'm on top of this today. Don't worry. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I've just managed to watch an old Bond film for the first time in months, so I'm obviously feeling better.
It's a good film, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's good in the old Bond sense, but I'm not sure we'll get onto that. But it's enjoyable all the way through, which is what sometimes you want from, well, any film, really. Because I watched Morbius the other night, and I really needed a pick-me-up after that. So this provided a pick-me-up.
Oh, well, I was going to say you've come to the wrong place then for a pick-me-up. Moving on.
And, well, failing this channel, I've still got whiskey, which can do the same job. So if needs be, I'll just go and get that.
And how's your channel going at the moment, my friend?
It's all right. Yeah, we're on. I think we've ticked up to 930 something subs over the last week, so it's going all right. Although I did a review of Morbius after watching it, and the premise of the review being that nobody could be asked to watch it, and it turns out nobody could be asked to watch the review either. So maybe reviewing pointless films is not our way forward. So I might reconsider future products. But the channel is going nicely.
So about 70 more subs, and that's when you sell out, is what you're saying.
70 more subs until we are eligible to be demonetized for hate speech. Yeah. And we're really, really looking forward to that because we've just started a weekly live stream as well, which gives us even more of an opportunity to be yeeted from YouTube's partner program when we eventually get there. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to reaching that milestone and having the entire thing stripped away by some wanker.
There's a lesson about life in there somewhere. So, you know what my next question is now?
I think it's something about next guests, but I don't really remember.
Next up is the what? Yes, very good. Next up is the wise elder of the channel. In fact, I'll start again, actually. Last, but by no means least, it's the wise elder of the channel, the writer, the portal, the director, and paid-up member of the Selfridges Appreciation Society. He is the great mega geek himself. It's Mr. Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys? All right?
Yeah, good. Are you?
I'm all right. Just chilling, and yeah, Spy Love Me. Can't wait to get my teeth into that one. Aha! See what it did there? See what I did there?
Very good. Very good. Okay, so we'll just we'll do that. Do you want to do some blurb, or should we just get straight into the trailer? What do you think?
Before we start, can I just say a little shout out to Rennie and Tyrone? They're going through a bit of a rough time.
Yeah.
Just to wish them all the best and hope to see you back on here soon.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. We miss you guys.
I hope Rennie's okay.
Fighting fit. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. We'll do the trailer first. So just bear with me. I'll just say, Mr. Brown Alliance, please like, share, subscribe, because YouTube is ghosting my channel. Nobody wants to watch it for some reason. But there you go. So let's get the trailer going. This is the original trailer from, it would have been about 77. Very weird trailer. 3 minutes long, boys and girls, so bear with me. Here we go.
It's the biggest, it's the best, it's Bond and beyond.
James Bond, and the woman is Major Amasova, a Russian agent. Let them get ashore and then kill them.
Watch out!
In our business, and your people get killed. We both know that.
Then, when this mission is over, I will kill you.
Within minutes, New York and Moscow will cease to exist.
Anya on there.
I know, James. I'm sorry.
I have to get her off. How?
Well. A British agent in love with a Russian agent.
Your time's running out, Stromberg.
Yours too, Mr. Bond. Yours too.
It's the biggest. It's the best. It's Bond and beyond.
That's a weird trailer. It's like a trailer with two halves.
Basically, they showed you everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought that. Why would I want to go see the film?
Well, it was very different in those days. Remember, you didn't have YouTube or anything like that. So when you saw that in the cinema, you just thought, oh, I want to see that. But you'll never see it again unless you go back to the cinema. So, you know what I mean? So it kind of served its purpose, didn't it, really? Very different.
Very weird, though, in 2 halves.
Mm.
Ben, did you like that trailer?
Yeah, I mean, the trailer is kind of like the film, though, in that way. It's action-packed right at the beginning, then it completely makes a huge sort of genre shift for the sort of the middle and the latter half of it, which is much slower. It's much more exploratory. And then it closes with the huge action set pieces again. So it's a peculiar trailer, but actually it's probably quite an appropriate trailer, given that it sort of inadvertently tells you more about the film than it shows you about the film, because it also tells you about how the film is structured itself, which is like, you could make it as a point of criticism of the film, I think, arguably, but nevertheless, compared to most modern trailers, which are just cut and paste and they all look the same, just with different characters, at least it's still enjoyable.
Mm.
It would have been easier to do the slides for the show. Brian, what did you think?
Strange watching the trailer there. I had the first thought of I don't know if a Ford Granada is possibly the best car to be chasing a Lotus Esprit in. But the trailer certainly gives you probably far too much. But I think Ian's spot on. We don't have the rewatch value you would have on YouTube, so you're probably banking on that most people forget all about what was in the trailer by the time the film actually comes round.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so the poster on screen is it's a copy of one of the London Tube posters. So pretty much classic poster with a couple of the scenes in there.
Yeah.
Does look very 70s. Shall I?
I'm perplexed by the Bond and Beyond line. Where does the Beyond come from? Did they just put it in there because it rhymed?
I think they put it in because the history behind it was that Saltzman left, and so Broccoli was determined, because the last film, Man with the Golden Gun, flopped big time, and Saltzman had left, so he was determined to make this James Bond film, the best one. So I think they added that line beyond the rest of the others.
He left during pre-production. Apparently, I had a look on the trivia.
So there you go. So Broccoli was on a mission to make this one the best one yet.
So like soft read. No, that's interesting stuff.
Okay, let's do some blurb and then we'll get into the slide. So, Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, Certificate A, 2 hours, 5 minutes, release date, July 8th, 1977, that was the UK. Budget, $14 million, which was the most expensive Bond film at the time. Gross worldwide, excuse me, $46,839,000. As I said before, directed by Louis Gilbert, produced by Albert R. Broccoli, associate producer William P. Cartledge. His name rings a bell. Screenplay by Christopher Wood and Richard Maybaum. Characters by Ian Fleming, music by Marvin Hamlish, great theme by the way. Visual effects, the mighty Derek Meddins. Worthy of a mention, ski jump stunt performed by Rick Sylvester, paid $30,000 to perform that stunt and got a bonus for living or surviving. Starring the great Sir Roger Moore as James Bond, Barbara Bach or Bach?
I think it's Bach.
Bach.
Are you from Liverpool?
Bach. Yeah, she married. Well, she married Ringo. He's from Liverpool. So she played Major Anna Amosova.
Amosova, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Kurt Jürgens as Stromberg. Richard Keel as Jaws, Michael Billington as Sergi.
Michael Billington
Yes.
was up to play Bond.
He was.
So because they thought Roger Moore wasn't going to do this one, so he was auditioned to play. He was auditioned, and everybody liked him, so he was going to be the next Bond. Until Roger Moore said he wanted to do another one. So there you go.
He kind of reminded me of Lazenby, that guy.
Yes, a bit. Yeah.
He was in UFO, wasn't he, Jerry Anderson?
I think so.
As Colonel Paul Forster. Anyway.
Good-looking fella.
He was. And he was getting on with Ringo's missus, so all good. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's get the slides up and running. So first memories of the film. We'll go in order of the bottom of the screen. So Brian, thoughts, memories.
First memories. It's one of these films that's always seemed to be about. In my memory, I quite enjoyed this one on the rewatch, surprisingly, because as you know, I'm not a massive Bond fan. I always felt, well, especially in Moore's era, it was kind of cruel and slightly smutty. It was kind of like a particularly dark carry-on film, the Moore era. But I always give them a watch. Well, apart from the most recent installment, I think Roger Moore is the actor that I most readily associate with Bond because that's who I grew up with. And I think this movie could very well be his finest outing. I thought the visuals were superb, and I don't mean the Benny Hill side of it. Aside from a few kind of ropey effects that's kind of here and there, but it is a product of its time. I felt the music has a nice 70s flavour to complement the main theme.
Great theme.
And I think this could very well be the quintessential Bond movie, certainly of the Moore era at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the kind of Gilbert... I didn't know that Gilbert, Louis Gilbert, did both of these. He did Spy and Moonraker back-to-back, which... was probably a good thing, actually. I do like both of these films.
They are very similar.
Yeah. Lost Chord, thoughts?
So, I mean, I have no memories of this film because I think I was minus 20 when it came out. I remember, I think the first time I watched it, my mum's ex-partner really loved all these old films, so we got him the whole box set of every single Bond film for one of his birthdays. We watched, nice. I know at one point we went on like a Bond, or several Bond marathons. I think that must have been the first time. Yeah, I mean, that's like the first time I think I saw it. And like I kind of agree with not Brian in that it's... So you have to forgive older Bond films certain things that you don't necessarily forgive other films for, because it's part of the genre of it, is to be excessive, is to be a little bit smutty, is to be quite corny and definitely a little bit cheesy. I think this one just about goes too far for me to forgive it completely. Like I quite liked I liked Goldfinger, for example, and I know a lot of people didn't, but it's a more sedate and it's a little bit more restrained film. And this era, this one and Moonraker, which plot wise and structure wise are virtually the same film in the setup and in the ultimate sort of the mission and the climax, but Moonraker just goes one up even on this one. I think this one goes too far in being a little bit too corny, a little bit too much like, well, a Bond film of that era. So to the extent that it is like the epitome of Roger Moore's Bond, that's probably the type of Bond that I don't necessarily like so much. I prefer the older ones. That being said, I don't know if I prefer any of the later ones. So it's enjoyable, though, because you do have to forgive it so much. I mean, it is so sort of culturally iconic, and it does give you some really classic Bond stuff that you wish the new films would have more of. Some of the ridiculous technologies, some of the humor that's in it. I think you could tone down the smut a little bit, but it's important to Bond that it's in there because Bond is not a feminist, so he shouldn't behave like one. Some of the acting is highly questionable in this one, Barbara Bach particularly. But, you know, acknowledging the faults in it, it is still an old Bond film, and they are still enjoyable no matter what you critique them on technical grounds. So, yeah, I'm glad that I got an opportunity to watch it for this.
Ian, thoughts?
As I said, this reminds me of my childhood. I'm probably a lot older than everybody on this board. I went to see it in the cinema, and in those days, you could go to the cinema and the film would play, and then it would play again, and it would play again, and you could just sit in the cinema all day just watching the same film 3 times, 4 times, wherever it's playing. Also, people are allowed to come in halfway through the movie. How I remember Spy Love Me, though, is I remember coming in, the first time I saw it, I came in halfway through the movie with my mum and my sisters and my brother, because in those days, the family used to go to cinema. And we bought some stuff from Tesco's and shove it in a bag and went into the cinema.
As you do.
As you do, yeah. And because it was too much to pay, if you buy popcorn there, it was just too much and stuff. So it reminds you of those days. As for the film, I thought the film was absolutely excellent. From the ski jump in the beginning to the humor, to the corny humor, to the bad acting from Barbara Bach. Some of the best special effects are really bad, but I just love this film because it just one, not because it is a good film, not because it's a brilliant film. It's because it's connected to my childhood, and Roger Moore was a big part of my childhood. In fact, Roger Moore was like part of my summers. So when a Bond film would come out, you'd go and see it, and then it was just rinse and repeat the year after that. 2 years after that, you'd go again, someone see Roger Moore again and stuff like that. So he's a big part of my childhood, and God bless him for that and everything. And I just thought this film was just enjoyable from start to finish. Very silly, very corny, but that was the era. And Jaws is probably one of the best henchmen ever in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
You can't really top him at all. Apart from Odd Job, I guess, because Odd Job started it all off, and with his bowler hat and stuff like that, he was really good. But I just noticed Roger Moore's shoes in this poster. What is that all about? What is that all about?
I'll just say hello to some of the peeps in the chat. Matt, was it Matt 1? Hello, Matt. I've never seen a Bond movie.
Oh dear.
Stream killer. Games, movies, and comics are us. I saw a few James Bond films once.
Is that he only saw them once, or he saw them once upon a time?
I don't know. Here he is.
Nigel, the movie guy.
The all-terrain armored transport, or AT-AT Walker, is a four-legged transport and combat vehicle used by Imperial ground forces. Ben, did you know that? I didn't.
Funnily enough, I did. And it's actually the kind of technology you would expect to see in a film like this, given all the other wacky stuff that they include. Giant robotic walking cows is very much in James Bond's territory in this era.
And the mighty Wookiee Fever 1969. Richard Kiel was the best villain in Bond, in my opinion.
He was. And the guy was, Roger Moore is 6 foot. Christ knows how tall
7'2"
Kiel was. He just towered over Roger Moore in that fight, didn't he? You're like,
7'2", yeah.
Wow.
I think it was, I was reading the trivia. I think it was the stunt performer for Richard Kiel recommended to Cubby.
What was his name again? Who's the stunt performer? He's famous, isn't he? Oh, can't remember his name.
I'd have to look on the trivia, but he said that you need to get him back for another film.
So I can't remember his name, the stunt guy. If somebody can remind me. So I used to follow him, not follow him as in social media, but I used to basically read up a lot of stuff about him because at one point I was interested in stunts. And did you know, right? He did the stunt when Roger Moore kicks Jaws through the window of the train. He did it. And this guy, this stuntman, he's 5'7", and he was doubling for Richard Kiel. And it gets weirder, right? So in the scene in Egypt, when they see Jaws walking on top of the plank, it's a wide shot, and he's walking on top of the thing. That is the stuntman, and he's 7 foot. And somebody said to him, "How can you double Richard Kiel when you're only 5'7"?" And he said, "It's not about how tall you are; it's about about imitating their walk. If you can imitate their walk and their mannerisms, you'll get away with anything. And he's right,
well,
because
he
I
did.
thought that was
He did.
Richard Kiel up there, and it was the stunt guy, 5'7".
It's the
So there you
alternative
go.
is you do the Tom Cruise thing and you wear platform shoes everywhere you go.
Yeah.
That Nigel movie guy, James Bond. What's that again? Sorry, James Bond films as a franchise represented the most financially successful string of sequels until the MCU happened.
Yeah, it did. It did. The thing is, though, I mean, Broccoli was really, really, really proud of this movie until he realised Star Wars came out the same year. So
And again, Nigel says Goldfinger and GoldenEye are the best ones. Yeah, GoldenEye is certainly a great film.
I like Goldfinger. I thought Goldfinger was really good. It's so good that it made a golf match enjoyable in that film. Remember that match between him and Goldfinger? That was really enjoyable. The way they both were playing and stuff. So that's how good Goldfinger was. They just copied Goldfinger. Spy Love Me copied every facet of Goldfinger. So they had Odd Job, they had Jaws in this. Basically, Goldfinger was about gold. This was about underwater sea. It's the same plot. It's the same bits that Spy Love Me had the car, and then in Goldfinger they had the car. Do you know what I mean? So very much a retread.
They had the train in Spectre.
Yeah, that was okay. Spectre, I could take that one or leave it. But they when they built that set for the submarines, they were like saying, "How the hell are we going to light this? It's so big." And then I think it was Ken Adam decided to put lights on the set, so it was part of the decor, and that's how they lit it, basically. So there you go.
Nigel again in the chats. Why did Lazenby break the fourth wall when he said that never happened to the other guy?
He didn't. He didn't look into the camera when he said it, or did he? Anybody remember?
No.
It was a gag, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think he did look into the camera.
He did?
I don't think he did
No, he
look
didn't.
into the camera. Yeah.
The mighty Stephen Amore. A lot of people rave about this one, but I think it gets dull halfway through.
All Bond films do. They tend to be too long. Bond films. I mean, Spy Love Me is a terrific movie. It does lull in the middle. Same thing with Few Eyes Only. I like Few Eyes Only, and that lull in the middle as well.
Yeah, I like
they
that
seem
one as
to
well.
tend to do that, don't they?
Yeah.
I have heard that this one in particular, reading some of the old sort of reviews of it, is that was one of the major criticisms, that it was more criticized in this film than in a lot of other Bond films. And I can kind of see why, because I agree with you. A lot of the Bond films do tend to drag on too long, or they are a little bit too excessive, or they take too much time to do one particular thing that they could have just cut out and saved some time. This one, more so than most I've seen, and I've seen, I think, most of the Bond films at some point, this one really does, certainly in the middle. You have the beautiful shots, I'm sure we'll get to when it's set in Egypt, but they make a little bit too much of their casting locations, I think.
They do.
And they linger too long in these places. And then when you finally get to the large action sequence at the end, you're a little bit tired and it takes some time to warm up to it again. So
yeah, it's true.
I mean, they're beautiful shots, and the location scouting in this is wonderful. It's just they evidently knew it was wonderful, and then they made a lot of it.
It's funny because the things that I remember from the Roger Moore era is the back projection, because they always had back projection for poor old Roger, and especially the ski and stuff in the beginning. It's so obvious that Roger Moore was not there, and it was just back projection and stuff.
It was very obvious.
Yeah.
Romeo Tango November Zulu. This film has
Kranich
in it. Been there. Karnak is awesome. Like being in an Indiana Jones movie. Right, it must be a place. Yeah.
Don't know what he's talking about there, but it's amazing though when you look at Spy Love Me and you see all the stunts that's performed in the movie, and you realize that most of it was done for real on set. You know how long it takes for someone to drive a car and, you know, for an explosion to go off and people to fall into the water, especially when you're doing it for real. It takes ages. And I'm not surprised it went over budget.
Romeo, totally disagree about lingering too long on Egypt scenes. You can linger too long to stuff like that. Egypt is amazing.
So look, I would happily have an entire film set in Egypt, which was nothing more than vistas and temple. I think Karnak is a temple in Egypt.
Karnak, right? Okay.
I would happily have a film which was entirely set there. The problem is this film has to do three things. It has to have a beginning and a middle and an end. And if you do spend too long in admittedly wonderful scenery in Egypt in the middle, you are going to detract from the beginning and the end. So when it does come to making a film like this, yeah, it's beautiful and it is stunning and you could have that all day. But if you're going to have that all day, you shouldn't then try and tack something onto the night at the end of that day, which is the close of the film, which is the problem.
I think the stunt guy's name is Vic Armstrong.
Yeah, he did Indiana Jones, didn't he?
Yes, he was the guy that did the under the truck thing. So it was Vic Armstrong that did the stunts for this film, and Vic Armstrong is the one that actually moved like Richard Keel to double for him.
Just think, Lost Chord. Just think, being sat in a smoky cinema in the 70s. How many extra Benson and Hedges passively smoked you could have inhaled?
It's incredibly cost effective. No, it's brilliant. Like if that was still, if you could still smoke inside, I would still be a smoker. I think probably, but then again, I wouldn't have to be because I could just be sitting in the cinema and getting everybody else's.
Stephen Moray, action scenes are the best. They are, but Mission Impossible, Mr. Cruise is doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing better than the Bond films of today.
Yeah, that's what the Bond film should be, in my opinion. But
there's a couple like that. So like the Mission Impossible ones, and I think that I've not seen the most recent one, but Kingsman, when that first came out, the original Kingsman film, did it really well. And modern James Bond looked at the Jason Bourne films, which were very successful at the time, and thought, well, we obviously have to mimic those. And then missed the entire point of what James Bond is supposed to be about, which is why it's been now parceled off to essentially other franchises to do better what James Bond should be doing best. And it's kind of a shame, really.
Well, he's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So I totally agree with you. Barbara Broccoli and Wilson has missed the whole point of James Bond. You can't sit there and tell me we can't have gadgets in James Bond. It's too cheesy. Like, fuck off. But James Bond, James Bond is all about gadgets. But look, you don't have to go overboard with the gadgets, right? But James Bond, without gadgets, it's not. You might as well just be our man Flint. Do you know? Well, our man Flint had gadgets in it, didn't it? But I'm just saying, you know, that's what I'm saying. James Bond is about beautiful women, gadgets, action, different countries, and entertainment. You know, and fun. That's what James Bond films are all about.
And memories of childhoods. Stephen Moray wants to remember that what the orange drinks in those rectangular plastic cartons were called.
Oh, God, yes. They were fantastic.
With the clear plastic straw, the little tiny straw,
Yeah. And he used to have this woman who used to come out and she used to have chalk ices in her little tray. She used to come out halfway through the movie and her little tray used to glow with light. And people used to get up from their chairs as the movie was playing and go and give her money to buy chalk ices off her and stuff.
Weren't those drinks called Jubilees? Used to freeze them as well.
I think so. I don't know.
Amazon have got the rights now, haven't they?
They have, yeah. They have.
Have they?
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Oh, God, no.
Amazon bought MGM.
They're going to be playing all of them.
Does that mean they have the right to make new ones?
I don't think so. Bob Broccoli and Wilson still owns the internet. Sorry, the property of Bond, and they're in charge of it. Amazon is allowed to, every time they make a film, it's allowed to put it on their platform. Apparently, so it's like ITV had a deal with the Bond people in it that when a Bond film happens, it premieres on ITV only, not the BBC. So
that's kind of a relief.
Well, it's not, because Barbara Broccoli's gone, as far as I'm concerned, is gone a bit woke, and I will not forgive her for killing Bond at all. So she can kiss my ass for all I care.
As we've said I've not seen the most recent one. What's it called? No Time to Die.
No time.
I've
It's called Die. Time to Die. That's what it
just
should be
that.
called.
Yeah, I've not watched it again. Once.
No.
That's it.
No.
I've never same. I've never had the slightest desire to watch it again. And there are scenes. If you take ignoring the end, there are some half decent action sequences in it, and there are certain aspects that resemble some of the older Bond films in the use of certain female characters, and in some of the other. But the way the overall story works, and of course the fact that the end that they kill him off just sort of wrecks the whole thing.
They killed him, mate. That's it.
Yeah,
they killed him.
And you know why they killed him, don't you? It's because he's a white, privileged man. Like, for instance, in Batman, the Batman, it's the same thing. You can see the same
down the
pattern
rabbit
happening
hole
time and time again with the latest movies. They are targeting heroes and privileged white men and masculinity. That's what they're targeting. And it's pretty obvious to me. People should wake up and see what's going on, and that's what's going on. So there you go.
I know. Never mind. Mr. Brown Alliance in the chat. We've gone down the rabbit hole, folks.
We have indeed. Back to Spy Love Me.
I will just say, when I left No Time to Die, I was broken. When
I wasn't broken. I wasn't depressed. I just thought to myself, well, they've done it. And, because I knew that something was going to be up with this Bond film. And when I was walking out, I thought to myself, well, they've done it. Well, that's that then. That's what I thought. So,
and as we've said previously, Ian, they think they were clever as well, don't they?
It's sad that they think they're clever. It's sad that people think that Bond should be like the novels, because Bond the movie is completely different to the novels. Bond the movie is fantastic entertainment. If you read the novels, it's as dark as shit, isn't it? So
because Despite You Love Me, isn't the film, it doesn't use a single scene even from the novel.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. In fact, Spy Love Me was a short story. Basically, Bond was hardly in it. This woman was getting abused, and it kind of circles around her, and then right at the very end, Bond comes in, takes care of business, and drives off. So that's what Spy Love Me. That's the short story. Spy Love Me. It's not about Stromberg or water or cars that went underwater. None of that in the book.
Or Carlsberg. Stephen Amore has dropped a link in the chat with those orange things and the choc ices.
Cool.
So, shall we move on?
Yes.
Yes, and start these slides because there's a lot. Right, okay. So, as I said, London Tube poster. There we go.
United Artists.
Yeah. Old school, that is.
Roger Moore still wearing the old flares. Bing. Yeah.
Sub.
Yeah. And there's Boba Fett.
Oh, yes.
Yep, there's
top trivia.
Boba. In fact, he's been in 2 Bond films, I think. He's playing a different character here.
Looks like he's got his Boba Fett insignia on his arm.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're in the submarine, and the cups start shaking, don't they?
Yeah, a dinosaur's going to appear in a minute.
Yeah, and then all the instruments go ape shit, and they lose power. In the chat, Stephen Morey, United Artists was found by Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton.
It certainly was. Not sure about Buster Keaton, but I know it was formed by Charlie Chaplin.
That's excellent trivia. So the ship has lost power and they're surfacing. It's the captain.
Oh my God, he says.
Anybody who lived in Britain would have seen this guy many times. One of these kind of jobbing
on TV.
Actors.
Yeah.
Lots of kind of jobbing faces.
And especially him. He's been on TV quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
George Baker.
So I'll just go back to this. So the captain goes, "Oh my god!"
Yep, because he sees what's ahead.
Yeah,
And then you got Noel Edmonds in the background there. Can you see him?
yeah. So this is submarine's gone, hasn't it? It's gone missing.
Yeah, it's disappeared. Yeah, it's gone.
And
We're in Moscow. General Gogov.
yeah,
It's really funny how General Gogov's office is cold and dank. And M's office is nice and warm and homely, isn't it?
yeah. So
this is a subversion of expectations here.
Yeah. Yeah, because the general's talking to, well, it's the music box that starts flashing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that guy's hairy.
Yeah, I thought he had a bit of a rug on his chest, yeah. So obviously both of them are spies, but they're getting it on,
Lovers.
as it were.
Lovers.
Yeah.
If that had happened in a film that we'd watched recently, everyone would be saying, "Oh, it's just woke shit." You forget about some of the stuff. You're kind of primed to see it through a certain light at the moment. It's a bit of a shame.
It is. The mighty in the chat. Who is hotter, Barbara Bach or Caroline Munro? I prefer Caroline in the Copter Chase. Lovely smile. Reminds me of a... Was that On a Top?
On a top.
Yeah, on the top.
Is
Yeah.
in
Oh, yes.
Goldeneye.
You know, on the top, yeah.
Years later.
Although on the top was far more sexual, wasn't she?
In that she literally killed people by having sex with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she
And
was
that
on
would never
top,
be
wasn't
allowed
she?
today.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. The woke brigade would be on the rampage, wouldn't they? Never mind.
Oh, Moneypenny looking a bit old.
Yeah. Where's
And this is-
007?
Yeah, so this is the inevitable Moneypenny, where's 007? So they did it in this one, they did it in Gold, was it Going the Golden Gun, and did
Well,
this
most
one
of
in
them, to be honest.
Moonraker as well, yeah. They used to have a thing called the sting in the tail in James Bond films, and they dropped it, I think, after Man with the Golden Gun, where they used to have a little sequence towards the end, before the end credits. But they dropped it. I think they dropped it in this one.
Oh, okay.
For it, yeah, so...
Right. So 007's on assignment.
Well, tell him to pull out immediately, he says.
The entire film is littered with that kind of.
It's absolutely brilliant, though. Let's face it.
It is. It's funny.
Do you know what, right? When you look at this film, you say it's cheesy, you say it's this, you say it's that. But you know, what I say now, after so many years, this is brilliant art, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's art. The
Yeah, it's got
cheesiness,
humour in it,
the whole aspect and the whole tone of the way this film was made for that era. I think it's amazing, personally.
So he's on the job, and look at that for technology.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. And the, do you remember those dymos?
Yeah, I do. Do you remember that line as well? James, I need you. So does England.
Oh,
And
see,
that's just
that's
all
that
brilliant.
scene.
All brilliant.
That is the scene that always sticks in my mind whenever I think about this film. As like that is peak Bond of this era.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
just so good.
At the time, apparently, people in the cinema like stood up and clapped it, and that is between that and when he unfurls the Union Jack parachute, and both of those things, I just go, "Oh, I can
it's
kind of see
great.
why," but oh my god, oh cringe. But it is great,
No,
but it's also
it is.
incredibly cringe.
It's like when Jack Kirby used to draw in the 60s, and people just kept saying, no, it's for kids. And now his art goes for so huge amounts of money, and we realize that it's art. You know, it's art in the purest sense. And when I look back at the James Bond films, especially Spy Love Me, I've got to admit, I look at it as art now. You know, all of that era, all of those cheesy jokes, all of these fantastic stunts and stuff like that, I see it as high art, in my opinion.
No,
And a
I
lot of
wouldn't be
people
without
don't see
them.
it as
Don't
high
get me
art.
wrong. Like I definitely would not be without them. I think that they are Like they're such that they are the epitome of that era. So to that end, yeah, no, I completely agree. And there are bad cringe and good cringe, and this I think is good cringe. I mean,
It
you
is.
cringe it now with a modern sensibility, but you also realize that this is why it happened. And actually, it's the kind of nothing does that anymore, and we are missing this. That there is this open market in film these days for this kind of good cringe, and we haven't filled that yet. So don't get me wrong. When I say I cringe, I'm not saying I hate it. I actually enjoy it, but nevertheless, cringe.
It puts a smile on your face.
It does.
Absolutely.
We're not allowed to smile anymore.
More films should do that for you. You know, you should be, moved. And it's so funny. He's wearing yellow and red.
What did it say? My country needs me or something?
Yeah, she goes, but James, I need you.
I need
and he
you.
goes, so does England.
Just crying.
It's freaking awesome. Come on.
Ben, you need to lighten up, mate.
Oh, I like it. It's good cringe. It's like, some people cringe when they have orgasms. There is such a thing as a good cringe.
Sorry.
It's absolutely terrific. She used to star in loads of adverts in the 70s, coffee adverts and shit like that.
Yeah. Right, okay.
What's that line? She goes, James, I cannot find the words. And he goes, well, let me enlarge in your vocabulary. Brilliant.
Yes.
It's so good. It is. Oh, my God.
Okay, so that's Barbara Bach's boyfriend, who's obviously a Russian agent.
Yeah.
Sent to kill Bond.
Yeah.
Here we go. See, this is classic stuff. Shot in Canada, by the way.
They're bad guys because they have to wear black.
Yeah.
And Roger Moore's wearing yellow and red.
Here you go in. Back projection.
Back projection, yes.
Not even breaking into a sweat.
No. But he can't see in real life. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like he's not even trying. This is the face of someone who does not give a fuck. And it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Stephen in the chat, the shade of yellow is so 70s. Once again, the bad guys are better dressed. They are, mate.
Don't they sort of recapitulate this, don't they, in which is the Pierce Brosnan film where there's a long extended skiing sequence even. It's the one with the oil pipeline.
Tomorrow Never Dies. The World Is Not Enough.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has that thing it makes a balloon so that when it protects them, his coat opens up and it protects them from the falling thing or whatever. But people
at the time saying that Pierce Brosnan in particular, he was not ever so good a Bond. But rewatching those films now, they are much more closely resemble this era of Bond than any of the modern stuff does. So I suspect he's going to be benefiting from hindsight or by comparison with what came after him. I mean, Pierce Brosnan's were the first Bond films I think I saw, and I always kind of enjoyed those. But I know he has not like the best reputation as a Bond, but at least it cared about its history back then.
He was well into it. He was well into playing Bond. Romeo in the chat. Okay, who thinks Nolan was channeling this scene in the third act of Inception with the ski bag?
Yeah, he was. He was channeling Bond halfway through with who's that guy they say they want him to be the next Bond, and he was in Inception as well. The English guy, Tom Hardy. Yeah, so
I've only seen Inception once. And I know
that's enough for me.
Yeah, once is enough.
Yeah, it's enough for me.
Okay, right.
So I love this scene. I love this scene when he does that backflip.
Yeah,
he does that backflip. It's so cool.
Really good cinematography.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And back projection again.
Yeah. On this bit, yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Shoots
saw that in the trailer. Yeah, and then boom, I have that. So he goes down, and that's it. That's just to let you know who's dead, and that it's the boyfriend. Yeah, because that's the old crux of the film, I suppose.
Yeah.
There you go.
See the backflip, fantastic backflip. When I saw it at the cinema as a kid, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. So he's going off the edge of the mountain. This was shot in Canada, apparently.
Wow.
And what's the name of the guy? Where are my notes? Rick Sylvester, $30,000 to perform that, and got a bonus as well. Lots could have gone wrong, apparently.
He just flipped over and opened that parachute, and then the whole crowd cheered.
Yeah. The trivia said that they had about 8 cameras pointed on that,
Yes, they
and
did.
only one camera got the entire duration.
Mm. They weren't stupid.
Yeah.
They pointed 8 cameras at it. They knew they were going to get it. Mm.
There you go. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, Roger Moore. You're so funny.
Yeah. And then Q, wonderful Morris Binder graphics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that they don't have this anymore with the beautiful silhouette of women and stuff like that. Now
Yeah, it was a bit cheeky in places, yeah.
Yeah. It's not even him.
Carly Simon, Nobody Does It Better.
One of the best themes ever.
I'm torn between number 1 or 2. Oh.
Naked women doing flips and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Morris Binder. Directed by.
He's been in about 4 of them, isn't he? That guy played the same character in 4 James Bond films, yeah.
Alex Talon. Hello, Alex. New to the chat. Hello, mate. That trailer was awesome. I'd forgotten how much fun this film was, and the Bond movies in general back then. They're all great, yes. Agreed. Stephen, bring the girls back, yeah. So this is where he's briefing the Major.
Tells them that her boyfriend's been killed.
Yeah, and it was known that he was having liaisons, as it were.
And
Stephen
she says, "I'd very much like to meet the person." And then you see Bond.
So somewhere in Scotland.
That's Fazlane, just down the road from me, or up the road, I should say.
Yeah.
Apparently they still have the nukes. So if in a few weeks' time when it all kicks off, I may get a front row seat to see them getting launched.
Well, it'll be over quickly then. Yeah.
I was going to say, so Roger Moore, Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan. No, Dalton didn't have it. So those Bonds were the only Bonds that actually wore the uniform. The what is it? The thing with uniform.
Commander uniform.
Yeah, and Daniel Craig never did. In fact, Daniel Craig didn't even have a ski chase in any of his films.
Ironically, awarded honorary Commander of the Navy. Can you believe it?
Why?
For killing Bond off. But there you go.
Mr. Potato Head got an honorary what?
Yeah, he's a commander in the British Navy.
I think he is my least favourite Bond.
Same here.
He is now.
By some distance.
So this guy here on the right, he took over as M when Bernard Lee died.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So he was in Living Daylights. He was in View to a Kill as M.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
So they're getting the briefing of the submarine gone.
Yep.
Polaris tracking room. That was the course of the sub, and they've overlaid this stolen plans, which was the exact. So the crux is they're able to detect subs underwater.
And good old Q trying to explain it to the dummies that surround him.
Yeah.
And he starred in For Your Eyes Only, this fella. He was so when Bernard Lee died, him and another guy took over, but they weren't M. They were just the ministry. And they were said M was on leave because Bernard Lee wasn't well. And then obviously he died, and then they got the other fella to take over as M. So there you go.
In the chats, Demon 5 Synthwave. That trailer was awesome. Very long, though, and shows half of the movie. It's easy to forget how much fun Bond movies were back then.
Yep.
Not and this one in decades.
Not seen, in other words. He's not seen it in decades.
Okay. Right, okay, so let's move on.
I love this scene. Because I remember when we were kids, we used to say these two guys that came in was Morecambe and Wise because they look like Morecambe and Wise. I don't know if you have a picture.
A little
of
bit, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Past the salt. What?
This is a really effective scene, but it's kind of, it undermines itself by what happens next. So, there's two things that undermine it. In the first place, Jaws is such an iconic villain that the actual major villain of this piece kind of fades into the background and is not particularly memorable. In the second place, the elevator scene is fantastic because it sets things up properly, it ramps up tension, and it means that when the two major scientists go into the elevator, you know what could be happening next.
Yeah,
and the fact that it doesn't, it's all right. They sort of undermine that because then he just blows them up with missiles afterwards, and you kind of think,
he does. Yeah.
Why did you not just do the same thing?
Yeah.
It was
Carrie Munro's not wearing anything flattering there, is she? She looks like a pirate or something, doesn't she? Weird.
Apparently, she was overdubbed as well.
Was she? Wow.
Yeah. So these are the two scientists who have been working on the detection device, haven't they? So
Morecambe and Wise.
Stephen Moray in the chat. Putin is that table.
And the sharks.
Yeah. God, what a horrible hairstyle.
Again, a jobbing actress from the 70s.
Yep. Poor girl got eaten by a shark.
Yeah, she looks like my mate's wife. And then woof, she goes down the.
I love how elaborate this setup is for no other reason than to kill people he doesn't like. He has this entire chamber with a water slide in it and a shark and buttons attached to desks. And it's like, again, the kind of thing you miss in modern Bond films. It's so fantastically unreal that it works.
Yeah, it does.
Could just have shot her with a bolt.
Exactly.
Yeah, or just killed her at the table, yeah.
I mean, even Goldfinger had a thing like that, didn't he, when he killed... He gassed all the people in the room, didn't he? And then in View to a Kill, when one of the people didn't want to be part of the plan, he just said, "Oh, you can leave then." And they opened the door, and he falls out of the airplane, doesn't he?
Yeah, ship, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's Christopher Walken saying? Does anybody else want to drop out? He said. You see, now you know why I love these Bond films because they're so corny and fun.
Swappers in the chat. I remember the Lotus, Jaws, the submarine sets, and the great submersible sci-fi supervillain base. The most exactly what I think of when I think of James Bond. Yeah,
me too. Yeah, I had the Corgi helicopter and the Lotus.
Yeah, because they did a twin pack as well. I remember.
That's probably one I got. Probably.
Yeah.
And there were proper little models in those days with the wheels used to move. They used to open the doors.
They're worth a fortune, that now.
Yeah, and now these days, if you look at the Matchbox cars, they were just like one solid thing. You can't open the doors. Only the wheels go around. It's just absolute shit.
Yeah. So this girl is, she's become shark food. Spielberg was approached to direct this movie?
He wasn't approached. He was he asked them because he wanted to direct a James Bond film, and they said no. They said mostly we always get British people to direct a Bond film.
Yeah.
And then there's that classic thing that happened when he was escaping from Close Encounters and George Lucas escaped from Close Encounters, and they met on the Hawaii beach, and he said, well, if you can make any film, what would you do? And Spielberg said, I want to make a Bond film. And then George Lucas says, I've got something better. And then that's how Indiana Jones was born.
So the rest is history. Stephen Amore, I have the Lotus here right now.
Ooh. Amazing.
What's I say? The one that shoots and labels intact. Wow. My mate had the car. It's fantastic.
The actual Lotus that they used in this is now owned by Elon Musk. He bought it at auction, and he wanted to see if he could actually turn it into a properly submersible Lotus.
Why am I not surprised?
I don't know if he has yet. He bought it for something like $700,000.
£616,000 in 2013.
Oh, there you go.
That car's number plate is actually registered on the UK government website on the MOT history search. First registered the 3rd of September 1976.
Wow.
And it is a Lotus Esprit. It's not like a fucking
Yeah.
Ford Anglia or something they just use the number plate from.
Yeah. So the scientists are going to get, or they think they're going to get deposited $10 million each for a job well done on the detection device. And they're leaving, and the miniature.
Jerry Anderson.
Yeah, you can tell by the water droplets. Very difficult to. Yeah. This model was quite big. I saw some of the pictures. Still quite big, but it's the water that gives it away, isn't it?
It is. I still prefer it though. I mean, I love the old Jerry Anderson Thunderbird stuff, and give me practical effects with camera trickery over CGI versions of the same. Because no, you're right. You can tell from the water droplets.
Real.
It's a scale model, but it is real and it looks real, and that's the kind of thing you can forgive much more easily than the sort of the CGI uncanny valley stuff. There is another Jerry Anderson link, but I think I might save that one till later.
Yeah, I read that one too. I didn't know until earlier, but yes. Obviously, the Jerry Anderson with Derek Meddin's link, who did the special effects. So these are the henchmen, and is this where they? What are they saying to? What's Strongbird saying to them? I can't remember.
This is go and kill anyone who was linked with the microfilm thing, wasn't it?
That's it. Yes. Stephen Morey, Thunderbird's team worked on this. Yeah. In the chat, they will get what's coming to them.
As we've already seen, because the trailer spoils it.
Yeah. So there we go. And Jaws. Apparently, you can only keep those teeth in for 30 seconds, a minute tops, because they were awful.
Really? I thought they were his own.
Yeah. So the scientists are leaving.
Yep.
Strongbird there in his den.
Yeah. He said contact their loved ones and tell them the funeral was at sea.
I would have done these shots because some of the shots looked a bit sus with the kind of silhouettes of the.
Well, but it's false perspective. So
Yeah,
they'd either create the model on a scale, or they'd have matte shots. I think one shot was a matte shot, and a lot of it was false perspective.
Yeah. So they're congratulating themselves.
God, do you know, that's all I seem to remember from the 80s was the Bell Jet Ranger helicopters getting blown up every film I watched. I love those helicopters, and it's just horrific.
If you go back to the monitor, Ian, they're just switches. There's nothing saying what switch does what. It's just so stupid, isn't it?
Plus the plus the horizon of the water is level.
Yeah,
that would be the other way, wouldn't it? That would have perspective on it. But there you go. Just little things like that, isn't it? That
he's got webbed fingers, webbed hands, isn't he?
Oh yes,
he does. Well,
yeah, he does.
Spotted.
Yeah, he could have played the man from Atlantis, couldn't he? Okay, so we go to Egypt.
Tatooine again.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking desert planets.
I love this scene, and the joke right at the very end of the scene made me laugh so much when I was in the cinema. I almost cried with laughter.
Yeah, so he's going. They're looking for a contact, aren't they? To who knows something about what's going on.
Yeah, so James Bond goes to meet his friend that he went to Cambridge with.
Yes,
who is and to find out some information about where the that film or something, some film, I can't remember what it was, but microfilm, that was it, yeah. And he says to him, maybe you should stay, and to take a bed for the night. And he says no, and he introduces the woman. It's so funny to see. It's incredible.
There's a juxtaposition as well, because that scene closes with
Two of
that
them, mate.
moment. Like, are you sure you don't want to stay for
Yeah.
the night? And then he shows the moment. The next scene is the Islamic call to prayer in Cairo.
Yeah.
And you think,
Right.
these are two things which don't necessarily always go side by side.
But he goes, what is it? He goes, are you sure I can't persuade you to stay? And then Roger Moore looks at him and he goes, when one is in Egypt, one must delve deeply into its treasures. Obviously, it's so funny. He's like, carry on.
Brilliant.
It's so funny. But he says it's so straight. Roger Moore says it's so straight that you just have
brilliant.
to laugh.
Just brilliant.
It's so funny, yeah.
It's just brilliant. Roger Moore's fantastic.
Yeah. That's a
Shez,
wonderful shot. Yeah,
Shez the
it?
same birthday
Yeah.
as me. Yeah.
How does he? Sandor.
So he's going to meet the contact.
Mm.
Nice pad. That's the contact who's out.
He was in Mind Your Language, wasn't he?
I don't think that one was one of the later on. Yes,
All right.
and that's his wife. He'll be back soon.
He was happily to sleep with Bond, weren't she?
Yeah. He's going to get it.
But she get it in the back.
Yeah. In the chat, Stavros from Harry Enfield.
That was a strange fight. That was.
Yeah.
A strange fight. That was. Yeah.
'Cause,
Kicks up the
Bond,
arse in one scene.
Bond is supposed to be good at martial arts, but he didn't quite look like he was.
But he
good at
was
it.
quite strong, wasn't he, Sandor? Almost superhumanly strong, but he was very short.
Yeah.
But Bond took care of him easily. I like when he holds on to his tie. And then he
because he's on the
falls
edge.
off. Yeah. And then he says, what a helpful chap, he says to him when he falls off.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Romeo in the chat. I think I visited that hotel in Egypt in 2008.
Mm.
I'm sure the tourist industry made lots of money from this.
Where's Fekish? He says. He says, pyramids. And he
Pyramids!
when he falls off.
So, look at that. Beautiful. So there's a show going on about the pyramids and the ancient culture, and Bond's just walking.
Well, he's Bond, isn't he?
Yeah. The Russian major is talking to the contacts, and Bond is watching.
Mm.
Some really nice shots in this film.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
Jaws.
Louis Gilbert knew what he was on about, or knew what he was doing. And his DOP.
He's old school. Nice. Old school.
Yeah.
Bless his soul.
So the contact has he's walked off, hasn't he? I think he's seen Bond or something. So
No, he sees Jaws and he gets scared, doesn't he?
Ah, right, okay, is that it?
And
Right,
he
okay.
tries to lock himself in the thing.
Jaws is following him, yes, that's right.
Yeah, and Jaws eats the
chains.
Take real liberties with the physics here, don't they?
Yeah. They don't show him bite him, but it's well shot.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about that is that, so they show him, I think it's this one, because there's a couple of these scenes. I think it's this one though. So they show him bite him, which works, but then they pan out after that, and then he falls to the floor, and you see that there's no blood, there's nothing. There's no bite marks. So that was like that second scene kind of defeated the point of this one. This is really effective until they do that second scene. If you were to go back to, say, was Christopher Lee's first Dracula film, which was given an X rating because all he does is go in and imply that he's biting her, and then it cuts to black and moves on. That kind of approach would have been really effective here, and because this is a really good scene, it's just that they add that other one afterwards, and you kind of think that well, obviously was fake.
When lads show as much blood on in James Bond films in those days. But,
Swappers in the chat reminds me of a really great era of movies, along with Superman, Empire, Jedi, Black Hole, Battlestar Galactica, and the Cat from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Swappers, you should be on here, mate. Okay.
This is where Jaws pulls a Batman when it goes
Yeah, he
dark,
does, yeah.
vanishes.
He does. And this is where the stuntman takes over when James Bond beats everybody up. I think it was
So the
it might
light,
be Vic again.
yeah. So the light changes and he's gone.
Makes a run for it, doesn't he?
So Bond goes in the room.
Max
picks up
Kelber.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. And the Major's out there with the goons.
Yeah. Big stuntman. See that stuntman there? That's not
Yeah.
Roger Moore.
Yeah.
God.
So they go to the place on the note, and they're exchanging the posturing, aren't they, with drinks?
See, this scene always gets me because there's that scene in it where he says he gives information about her, and then she does the same to him, and then she mentions his wife, and he just says stop. He kind of says stop right there. Do you know what I mean? He gets very upset when she mentions his wife, which is quite nice actually. It's quite a nice scene. Yeah.
And cue
There he is.
Yeah. Mind your language.
Mind your language. Yeah.
They'd never get away with that today.
No. You know what's interesting about this scene, and me and
All
my
of thy
brother,
neighbour.
yeah, me and my brother recognized this scene is that Roger Moore's hair was quite long in this scene, and then when they get to Egypt, his hair is short. So it's obviously he had a haircut. So his hair is long hair. When you see him in Egypt, it's quite short, which is interesting. They never did anything to match it.
Apparently, they had a tough time with the catering as well, didn't they?
I don't know. Did they?
Could be broccoli shipped a load of food over from the UK, but somebody forgot to turn on the refrigeration unit, so when it arrived, it was all spoiled.
Oh dear. I hope he got his money back.
Yeah. So he's asking the where's this person? He's there.
There he is with the big nose.
Because he's got the microfile, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And George trying to go, he can't hardly fit in that van. So big.
Stephen Morrow in the chat, mind your language, got a golden rose of Montreux. Wow.
Mind Your Language is still screening in Canada. They love it over there.
Woke Central. Wow.
Well, when I was there, they were playing it. Maybe they've taken it off.
Ben, have you seen Mind Your Language?
I have heard of Mind Your Language, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Watch it, you'll love it.
Okay.
It's funny. It's funny.
Okay, moving on. So
she comes to bid for it as well. Both of them are bidding for this mic.
I know he says he's got what I'm seeing is a much better package or presentation or
figure.
Something. Yeah, figure.
I think he says from where I'm sitting, the lady has the better figure or something. I can't remember the line.
I don't think you can match her figure.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Look at his tie. Couldn't get any bigger than that.
It's a nice bow tie, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big tie.
Stephen Morrow, the food was spoiled. Apparently, could be broccoli, who was a good cook, shipped a load of pasta and stuff in from Italy, and it's on internet movie database. So all the food that the crew was bought, it all gone spoiled. So phone call.
Oh yeah.
James has finished his drink, so he wants another one. Yes, Stephen agreed. No one delivered lines like Roger Moore.
It was his time, right? The 70s, Roger Moore. Yeah. That was Roger Moore in the 70s. He puts the out of order sign on him, doesn't he? Brilliant. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Come on. Why didn't these films win awards? They're so entertaining. They really are.
So the window, the curtains were blowing open, weren't they? And Bond's gone out and you see the. So it's in the back of the old Leyland truck or whatever it is.
And she gets into.
Yeah. Drives off. He can hear them, obviously.
Well, why didn't he kill them? I don't know.
Yeah.
A lovely shot.
Yeah.
As the sun's coming up or going down.
He looks like his own spitting image puppet there in that shot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you remember the spitting image where he used to do his eyebrows and you hear the sound like his two eyebrows coming up?
Roger Mortis is setting.
That was so funny.
Romeo. Parents and I moved from the UK to Canada in the 70s, and I've lived there 20 years. Most Canadians are not woke. Fucking government is, though.
Working.
You've not read the next message. Yeah. They're
Max of autocorrect, that one.
They're what is Trudeau? Is he Prime Minister or President?
He's Prime Minister.
Yeah, well. Moving on. Stream killer.
They get to Egypt.
So lots of nice scenery.
And Roger Moore's hair is short.
Oh, yeah.
He's had a short back and sides. Those flares.
This is very iconic of the film. I remember this scene from back in the day.
Must have been boiling in that bloody suit.
Yeah.
Has a nice little scene in it.
Yeah, it's stupid though. Is it? She doesn't look like she knows anything, any martial arts at all.
Stephen Moray, Prime Minister Al Jolson. It's true though. Karnak.
So there he is. There. That's
the 5'2" stuntman.
That's Vic Armstrong. That's Vic Armstrong.
I like in the preceding scene, Jaws is walking along on their level, and then about 2 seconds later, he is teleported up to the top of the complex, and then 2 seconds later, he teleports to a completely different location. It works completely for what they're trying to do, but it is quite funny how he just zaps from place to place.
But I think it was. I think they were trying to make it was a passing of time. I think at one point. That's a
nice shot. Look at that. Beautiful.
Egyptian builders. Stupid line.
Yeah, apparently there was there an Egyptian tourist board person on set, and Roger Moore mumbled those lines, so he didn't quite hear it. And then they overdubbed it later, and it said, ironically, the Egyptian audiences loved it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it's Roger, that's why.
Romeo, that's Karnak Temple, even more impressive than it looks here. It looks impressive there. Incredible. Swappers are big going, that's Battlestar Galactica. Which it is, but there you go.
Is that 6,000 years old or 3,000? Because it's incredible how. I mean, it's the irony in the Egyptian builders line. There's a double irony in it, because the reason Egyptian audiences like a line like that is because they live amongst the ruins of a civilization that was eminently better at building things than their current one is. But also, it's between. I think it's between 3,000 and 6,000 years old. I probably got that badly wrong, but I think it's between 3 and 6. And the fact that it is still standing at all is just utterly astounding.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. Slides down the rope. That's Vic Armstrong.
And then
smacks him in the face, hurts his hand. Yeah. and he just drops it on the floor.
Yeah.
Anyone with a gun would have went, pick it up. Yeah, she just tries to pick it up, stupid girl.
And then wallop.
She kicks the gun out.
Yeah.
This is the line in it. Egyptian builders. Boom.
And the entire thing comes down, doesn't it?
Jaws as bright as a 40-watt bulb there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're trying to leave. She couldn't drive a stick shift, apparently.
No, well. Let's face it. Jaws was trying to stop the car from moving anyway, so it didn't matter what she did.
Yeah, she didn't know how to drive with a gear. She was obviously an automatic person.
Not used to handling a gear stick. What a surprise.
So the microfilm's on the dashboard. Bob's
He's got the keys. Can't
Yeah.
go. I like that line. He says, "Women drivers." You never get away with that now.
Feminist nightmare, this film.
Yeah.
Apparently, all his lines were ad-libbed with this because she
He's got a
genuinely she couldn't drive with a stick shift.
And that
Terrific sense of humour.
She hits him.
Roger
Sorry,
Moore.
when he hits,
Yeah, I'm just saying
hits
he's got
him
a
with the
terrific
car
sense
and
of humour, Roger. Fuck,
Yeah.
Sorry, Ian.
Is that right?
Let's all talk over each other. There's a wicked delay.
No, she hits him with the car, doesn't she? I think she hits him. And then she says to Roger Moore, James Bond, shaken, not stirred, doesn't she?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So
This is
many
the bit where
great lines.
So he grabs the car, and he's super strong. He can tear bits of metal off it as he's doing that. He tears the bonnet off. He punches through the wall of it. He tears the wheel hub off. He tears everything else off. Right to the left of his hand is a door, which he could have just opened.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, stop spoiling it.
But Jaws is not the
killjoy.
brightest. He's not the sharpest tool in the box. Do you know what I mean? So,
Evidently not.
yeah.
Oh, you killjoy. Romeo, I think it's 3000 BC.
Yeah, so
It's
5,000
just
years.
incredible. Isn't it? It's just incredible.
I love that scene where he has the big slab of stone and he's about to throw it, but he decides not to. Then he drops it on his foot.
luckily for you, I kept. See, I know how you think, so I kept that.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's a genuine look of Roger Moore taking the piss out of her.
Did they like each other though on the set? Those two, Roger
Well,
Moore.
I've seen some of the shots, and I would say they had the chemistry. They looked like they were enjoying it. Yeah, it's Roger Moore though.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone disliking Roger
Yeah,
Moore.
Roger Moore's fantastic. Everybody would like Roger Moore. Lee Brun, everybody would like him. Shaken but not stirred. Great line. The drive off with the door intact.
Yeah, well, he pulls the door off, doesn't he, as it's driving, and drops the thing on his foot. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
That's where he's dropped the thing out, his big rock on his foot.
It's not with us anymore, is he, Richard Keel?
No. Such a great Bond villain.
He was in the Mean Machine, was he not, Richard Keel?
Yeah, I read that on the internet. Yeah.
With Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds' football jailhouse movie.
I'm sure I don't know if I've seen that. I'm sure I have, but it's
a good film.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really good film. 70s movie.
We should cover Smokey and the Bandit sometime.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Moving on.
Rapidly.
Yeah. So this reminded me a little bit of Quantum of Solace.
The abandons.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as funny.
No. Yeah, I'll agree with that. See, Quantum of Solace. So they're basically walking because the carburetor's gone. The engine's gone for Burton.
Cylinder head gasket.
Yeah.
Identical.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you get on the boat, because you can just get on anyone's boat and they'll take you anywhere.
Yeah. Romeo in the chat. I think Keel's last film was Happy Gilmore.
I guess
That was 96. Happy Gilmore, was it not?
Wow.
I don't
Not
know.
long ago.
I don't know.
Stephen Moray reminded you of Quantum, as in breaking down and falling apart. Wookiee
Longest
Fever,
Yard. But that was
1969.
yeah, but that's what it was called in America. Over here, it was called.
Oh,
Mean
okay.
Machine. It was called. And then what's his name? The footballer remade it into remade the film into a British film, didn't he? What was the footballer? What's his name?
Vinnie
guy that
Jones.
Vinnie Jones. He did his version, called Mean
Yeah.
Machine.
Yeah.
With
So
football.
Tangled was actually his last role. He died in 2014.
Oh, okay.
A voiceover voice.
Bond is looking at the plans, the file.
That becomes important later on.
Yeah. Look at that. So we're getting it on.
Back projection.
Yeah. She's having a smoke and then poof.
She gets
Vaping.
That's what you get when you trust someone, a Russian.
I might have missed this, but because I think I looked away at the time, I thought that the previous shot when he got on the boat, he took his jacket off, and he's now fully dressed again. I don't remember if that is right, or is he still wearing it when he goes to
No, because time has gone by. You have that shot with the boat. So
Yeah,
it gets
Isn't
colder and
he
he's
knocked
freezed.
out though in between times, or is he knocked out with the
No,
jacket
he gets
on?
knocked out here.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
no,
he's
you're
got
right.
he's got his jacket on, and then when he wakes up, he's still got his jacket on.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I used to
What's that in his
smoke those
face?
cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it was in real time.
No.
So he wakes up in the morning. She's gone. And secret comedy. MC in the chat. Evening all. The Spy Who Loved Me is my ultimate fave Bond. Time Prophet. Hail all. Are the pubs just turned out? Okay, so the file's gone.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
What makes me laugh is he knows exactly where to go. Bond.
Yeah, just goes for a walk. He knows where he's going. The women laughing at him. Look at that. MC, I've just got back from a wedding. Good for you.
It's really funny because he just goes walking and he gets
It's
here.
great, isn't it? Yeah.
And he knows exactly where what's the name's going to be.
Yeah, it takes your jacket off when it starts to get a bit warm.
Moneypenny.
Yeah. Of course, they happen to be in the local area. They're not in London. They happen to be in Cairo.
Yeah, but they used to do that in the Bond films, didn't they? Where
Yeah.
it's like the middle of the film. They always meet up with M and Moneypenny and Q for the Q scene, and they were always in some kind of strange location for the Q scenes. But they just dropped all that when they were trying to make Bond serious.
Oh, God. And it wasn't the better for it, was it?
No, it wasn't.
So the Russians there.
It's a cracking line in this bit that just didn't age very well.
Which was?
We have entered the new era of Anglo-Soviet cooperation.
What a great line.
Stream killer. This was the only time where M was called by his real name.
Major Boufoy.
Miles.
Miles? Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And this is where he says the microfilm was a appetizer, wasn't it? because all the vital information was missing. It was to whet their appetites. They hand it over, and he's just saying it's useless. It's useless.
I must admit, I liked some of the sparring between Bond and Anya. That's quite an interesting dynamic, just purely because of the backstory, despite the kind of shady acting, clearly.
She was only cast 5 days before.
You could tell.
You're kidding. Really?
Yeah.
She was very wooden, wasn't she, in this film?
I don't care.
Yeah, she had nice boobies. So there you go.
Toxic male.
It's just turning into a
I'm
Beavis
not
and
a
Butthead
toxic
stream.
male. I'm a male. End of story.
No, you're toxic.
Boobies.
This is the bit where it goes,
Very
I
good,
want
bro.
that ready for Akbar's tea party.
Yeah, we get treated to a technology show, don't we, with all the latest gadgets. Yeah. I wonder if Putin's got one of those and one of these.
That should bring tears to your eyes.
Certainly have some of them.
Yes, when the thing comes out, that's when it says the line, doesn't he? That'll bring tears to your eyes.
Right.
Barbara Bach was single at the time.
Interesting. Oh, God, look at the technology they got there then.
Ian still got his.
You know what? I never used to have one of those TVs. I always wish I did when I was a kid, but never. We always had those small, the ones with a huge back. Yeah, them. Tube. Oh, yeah, interesting.
I think that's a projector, though, isn't it? Because Q's got the projection,
Yeah, some video projector.
Yeah. So, microfilm. Oh, there's a clue, isn't there?
Yeah.
Appearing on the right side. Bond goes, "What's that?" There you go.
As if they can zoom in like that on something like that. Absolutely crazy.
In the chat, Stephen Amore, Roger Moore trained at RADA.
I'd rather not. RADA.
Roger Moore, fantastic.
Well done, James. That's true. And then what's the name? Corrects him.
Yeah. So this is the Anglo-Soviet thing, isn't it, going on? And cue the Spectre train scene.
How did she get that job anyway? She was just a model or something like that, and then they spotted her and they said, "Oh, do you want to be in a Bond film?" And she goes, "Yes." And then
No, I think
without
she
any
auditioned
acting or anything.
No, I think she auditioned for it.
What, were they blind or something when they were auditioning?
Well,
I think it's just that their eyes were in a different place.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty. So they've got separate bedrooms. Miss Moneypenny, very efficient.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Yeah.
A lot. So they're all kind of waiting, aren't they? Kind of do. And then
And
trailer time.
it's funny what you find in a wardrobe, isn't it?
It is.
You expect to get a rack for your clothes, but there's this man in there.
That's Jaws doing his Kato bit.
Yeah.
Fucking Pink Path.
I'm quite surprised it could fit in there.
Nice powder blue jacket.
Yeah.
Sharp is that jacket.
He's about to do Christopher Lee on her.
Yeah. And then
Roger Moore smashes champagne over his head.
Wallop.
That's a nice shot.
Roger Moore's shoes. Brilliant. They should kill him for that
Is that
shirt
his
alone.
hand? His
God,
head.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So he tries to pick up the because he's going to get bitten. So electric. Here we go.
It's crazy.
And then he boots him out the window.
Kicks him.
Goes down the embankment.
Well, he's still alive.
Yeah.
That was the running gag in the whole film, isn't it? Everything
Yeah,
that happens
they
to
can't
him,
kill
he's
him.
still alive. Yeah.
So they start going on about the Russian training, and he says anything about training for a draft. Then here we go.
And now, would he say something like? He said he just dropped in for a bite or something like that. Didn't it? Some
Yes.
lines towards it. Yeah.
And
Classic Roger.
she recognises that he's hurt genuinely.
And then you have the corny music that plays on there. As they get it on. Yeah, as they get it on.
Great theme.
Yeah.
Carly Simon, brilliant.
Yeah.
I listened to that theme tune 3 or 4 times to get me into the mood tonight. Great theme. So we're going to, is it Sardinia or Sicily, somewhere like that? And
comes the car.
There's going to be lots of shots of the car, boys and girls. So bear with me. I did put an invite out to Elon Musk asking if he wanted to come on.
Can't imagine what else he was doing with his time.
Exactly.
You see, as a result of this film, like the demand for the Lotus Esprit cars, they've had to put people on a 3-year waiting list to get one of these.
Wow.
They're fantastic, though. They're fantastic cars. They really are. Fantastic design.
Oh, beautiful. Here we go. Time Profit, Lotus Esprit.
Esprit. I love that line that Q says to him, now pay attention, 007. And he just gets in there and he says, Q ever let you down? And he goes, frequently. He drives off.
That's sick.
Even the lady at the counter was making eyes at Bond, wasn't she? And she's another British actress that starred in loads of adverts.
Yeah, she was very Valerie Perron or something like that. I can't remember her name exactly, but she was
Valerie Leon.
Yeah, that's it. Very, very famous in the 70s.
She's famous for the high karate advert, wasn't she?
Very good-looking girl. I used to work in a when I was DJing back in the day, in the early 90s in Wolverhampton. It was a gay club, and the owners knew her. Anyway, because the owners told me that she was gay.
She was gay.
Yeah, she was gay. Yeah.
Damn it, Janet.
Very, very good looking woman, Valerie Leon. Yeah. I think she was in a Carry On film as well.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
How lucky is Roger Moore, man? I mean, the guy had a charmed life, didn't he? He really did.
MC, she was in The Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, Hammer Horror, She's Hot. Yeah. Smoking, mate. And Time Profit, you have to drive through Little India to get to Wolves. You do, mate.
What? Is that a Time Profit with a bit of
northern humour?
A bit of racism, father.
Somebody told me you're a racist, father.
You're a racist now, father.
Are you a racist now, father? That's so funny.
Sarah Morey, she also appeared in a couple of Carry On films. She did, mate. Lovely hotel.
The thing about Barbara Bach is that she's got a little boy's face. Every time I look at her face, it's like, it looks like a little boy's face for some
don't
reason.
spoil it, please. Time Profit. I am literally 4 miles away from Wolverhampton. I was in Wolverhampton a few weeks ago to see some of my buddies. If I'd have known. Wolverhampton in the West Midlands.
I don't think much of her hat.
Moving on. So here we go.
Oh, hello, nurse.
I have literally rubbed shoulders with Caroline Munro in the SECC in Glasgow in 2003, but sadly I had absolutely no idea who she was.
If you paused after the word rubbed, people would have been very jealous.
I did think about it, but
Wasn't she in some Hammer horror as well?
She was, yeah. She was in a lot. She was also in Seven Voyages Sinbad as well. She played the love interest.
She turned down the role of Ursula in Superman 2 for this.
Silly girl.
did she?
Yeah,
5 minutes screen time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just too much work for her. She just couldn't be asked.
Yeah.
She was making a lot of money doing modelling and stuff.
So they're going to see Stromberg.
Mm.
His face is there in the. You can just about make it out.
Mm. So that was a model.
It's not brilliant, is it? But
It's great. It's great design.
It's
I
kind
like
of
the design.
Camelot and Holy Grail style model.
Yeah. I do like this. I do like the design. I think it's really good.
for some reason, it just reminds me of Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds
Yeah.
music cover. Do you remember that in the 70s?
I think I've seen that, yeah.
Oh, that was a great album. That was. Is.
Well, there's that TV thing again with no didn't know what any switch does. You can just press anything. Those seats are weird.
They are. So he's getting the demonstration. He's getting shown around his Bond.
Mm. And he tries to trick him, doesn't he? Ask him what fish that was because he's meant to be a botanist or something like that. Was it a
fish
botanist?
on the fish on the bottom left there.
See the arm there?
Yes. See the hand.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Yeah, the girls. Yeah. Time Prophet Stingray.
Mm. And he wouldn't shake hands with him because he's got because he's got thingy hands. He's got web fingers. That's why he wouldn't shake hands with James Bond.
And that's the said fish.
Mm.
Is that the same fish that Frank Drebin stabs with a pen? And
yeah.
And this is the test. He goes, well done. You obviously know your species, Mr. whatever his name is.
He knows he's James Bond, though, doesn't he? So.
Yeah. So he leaves.
Sterling, that's it. Mr. Sterling.
Robert Sterling. Pufferfish.
That's it.
He must have been standing on a stair higher up, Roger Moore, because Carol is 6'4".
What? She's tall.
No, the villain. God, I forget his name. Carl Jung. That's not the name.
Stromberg.
Kurt
Jürgens. Sorry, yeah. He is 6'4".
Yeah, Stephen Moray. Yes, lionfish. Yeah, very poisonous. And that's the boat.
Model of the tanker. Yeah.
Apparently, that was modelled on a Royal Shell actual tanker, Royal Dutch Shell, and they offered to. They said you could use the real thing if you wanted.
Wow.
But they had to decline because $50,000 a day insurance. So they stuck with the model. Moving on.
Oh, imagine those two.
Ian, pack it in. It's a family show. And this is where Stromberg says, kill him.
Now he says, make sure they get ashore. and killed them.
Yeah.
He says to Jaws.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Totally brilliant.
So here we go. This is the iconic part of the film coming
Iconic
up.
chase, yeah. With
Yeah.
the back projection.
Yeah. Stephen Moray, Airfix kit.
Yeah.
Another
Loads.
two
They use
models.
loads. Mm.
Kill them. And the motorbike with the detachable sidecar.
Yeah. Great lines in this film.
Yeah.
All those feathers and he still can't fly.
So this is where the thing comes off the bike.
Yeah.
Boom. On the
And
trailer.
that big dummy that falls off the cliff.
Yeah. Feathers.
Dummy. Is
Is that
that car
Cortina or Granada?
I think it's a Granada.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yeah. So they're chasing them.
Mm.
And they put this kind of oil stuff on, or paint on the windscreen from the back of the car.
That's a model.
Yeah.
And that's a model with a little model man.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how it
model.
just kind of fell vertically down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfectly vertical.
Comedic
And
purposes.
he just comes out and looks at him. Isn't he? It's so funny.
Yeah.
He just comes out and looks at him, walks off.
Time Profit motorbike was ripped off in the Sean Connery movie. That would have
The
been
unofficial,
the
unofficial one. So never say never.
So
Look at
there
this.
we go.
Look at the sign there as well. Crazy sign.
So this is what you want in a Bond film, isn't it?
Fortunately, they don't give us things like this anymore.
No.
It's too much fun.
Seriously impressive piloting skills.
Yeah.
Mm. Seriously impressive woman.
She wasn't in 2003, I hate to say. The danger of sounding slightly problematic.
It happens to us all, mate. Oh, iconic. Iconic.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Can you swim?" And the car goes off.
Here we go. Look at that. I think there was 6 of these cars, apparently.
Mm. He blows her the crap, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going straight on eBay after this.
Mm.
This is the bit where she looks kind of scared and alarmed, but later on she says she saw the models for the car 2 years ago.
That's right.
So she probably shouldn't have been scared and alarmed in this scene.
Well,
Ben.
she saw the models, but the thing is, though, she couldn't have been sure that this was what it was until it entered the water. And obviously, she was scared from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But then she realizes that it's the car that she saw the
Well,
blueprints
even
to.
even if you knew, it'd have been exhilarating going off the pier.
Yeah.
Time Profit has put a link in the chat for everybody to have a look.
It's almost for the audience, her reaction,
It
I
is.
think, more than
Yeah,
anything.
it is.
Yeah.
And I like it.
All great, this. Yeah.
Changes to the boat thing. Sorry, the submarine thing, doesn't it? Flips up.
Yeah.
The tires go in and those things come out.
So they can see the chopper.
Yeah, time to say goodbye to our uninvited guest.
Yeah. Look at that. That's so iconic.
Fire. And he blows up one of the best looking women in a Bond movie ever.
Ever. Time Profit, that's a miniature in the water.
Certainly is.
Yeah. That's certainly a miniature. So they're going to look, they're going to check this place out, aren't they?
Gonna check the bottom of Stromberg's little thing. That is definitely a miniature. Those bubbles are not right.
Yeah, that looks, yeah.
Something about that car that just when you look at it, especially some of the shots that I think Time Profit has just brought up there, it doesn't look like a 70s car. It looks, the design looks fresher than the 70s, doesn't it?
Yeah, still looks good now. So they can see through the window or the portal.
It's lucky nobody looked up, eh?
Yeah. So something's going on. And here we go.
They shoot just like stormtroopers, don't they? Those people.
They do.
So crap.
Yeah, Time Profit. I hope they didn't frighten the fish. Yeah, I agree, mate. So one of them's been taken out with a rocket. And then the mini sub comes out. And then he rams that one. In the chat, design reminds me of other cars in Blade Runner. The stuntman of YouTube is in. Hello, Cam Cam.
Hail, Cam Cam. Nice to see you in.
And then this can't be good for the environment. Piling loads of oil into the water, but I suppose it'd be okay because it'd disperse. And the guys in the mini sub can't see. And then the car drops a bomb. The
charge.
Yeah, the major drops a charge, and then it goes boom.
Have that.
Time Profit in the chat. I hope Cam Cam doesn't get PTSD from seeing a car crash into the water. And this is where they're discussing that the seen the plans 2 years before.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the equivalent of the Venice scene, isn't it?
Guy looking at his drink as if it's been something. It's been spiked. I think the humour in this next bit where he drops the fish, I think it works because of Roger Moore's expression as he does it.
Time Profit, did you know the Lotus Esprit had the nickname Wet Nelly? Yes.
Do you remember the Lotus Esprit game back in the 80s?
No.
No? I loved it. It was brilliant. Anyway.
Do you?
Yes,
Yes, I do remember, yes. Was that on Spectrum or ZX?
I don't know, my cousin down south had it on an Amstrad.
God.
What wasn't yesterday?
And then this is where the fucking dog runs off, isn't it? The dog sees the car coming out the... this is the equivalent of the pigeon scene in Moonraker. Fucking dog runs off with its tail between its legs. So the car comes out. Many people have asked, how does the fish get in the car?
Yeah, it's a bit of just a cartoonish joke.
Yeah, and Time Profit to help us out. Yes, Lotus Esprit game on the Amiga. And the dog stole the picture. Yeah, it did, like the pigeon did in the other film, yeah. Okay, so let's get to the next set of slides. Can you believe it? Here we go. Binder 4. So meanwhile, back on dry land. And this is where she finds out that he'd been in Austria. Was it Austria? 3 weeks before.
I found that slightly confusing because she already knows it's him. Does she not? Does she not already know that he was the guy because they were after Bond and he was killed going after Bond?
Yeah, good point. I'm not sure about that. I would have thought so.
And this is where it says if somebody's trying to kill you at 40 miles an hour.
Yep.
Some decent acting from Moore in this bit in particular.
Cam, pleasure to see you all. I have PTSD profit, but not from car crashes. Moving swiftly on.
Where?
So she tells him she's going to kill him after the mission is finished.
Mm.
And then Q back projection. They go into a submarine, and he's just smirking. Brilliant. And Shane Rimmer, he's been in a few Bond films.
Certainly has.
This is the other Jerry Anderson reference, isn't it? Because he's the voice of Scott in Thunderbirds.
Oh, yes.
He was also in Batman Begins, and I think he was in Star Wars as well. Same year.
Yeah, an American actor who was a good jobbing actor in the UK, wasn't he, Ian?
Yeah, didn't they call him the Yank for hire?
Yes. But he was Canadian, was he not?
He was, in fact, Canadian, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Also,
He was,
in Space 1999 as well.
There's two characters that they always go for, is him and the guy that played the, if you see Red Dwarf, the very first episode of Red Dwarf, the actual boss of the Red Dwarf, they always go for him as well. Yeah.
Yes.
God, what's his name? Mac McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time Prophet, everyone was in Star Wars.
Kit Curran.
Yeah.
The Rancor Keeper was in Kit Curran as well.
And the Major is having a shower, and he goes, "Have you never seen a Major having a shower before?" No, sir.
Guy's eyes. That would never be allowed today as well. Never.
So miniature, 70 foot long. That was. Sorry, 7. Was it? Sorry, I beg your pardon. It was either 7 or no. It would have been 70 feet. Yeah, that was a model.
This old Derek Meddins.
Yeah,
That is 10 foot longer than my narrowboat.
you can tell it's a model just because of the size of the waves.
That would be pretty tricky to do, though, because it would have to be like I would
Still
not take my boat out on the sea, because the problem is when it's that length and that width, you will capsize very easily. So I don't know how wide they made that.
Well, it's in a tank, isn't it? It's not in the sea. I think it's in a tank. They did it in
Oh,
a
yeah, no, good
Pinewood
point.
tank. Yeah.
As I said previously, they were offered the real one. That's why
Can't
they
control a real one, though, can
Yeah,
you?
if you look at the end credits, Royal Dutch Shell accredited. That's with regards to this. So submarine, something's happening. So they can see the boat in the distance.
I mean, they literally copied this from You Only Live Twice, didn't they? In the beginning sequence with that wonderful John Barry score with the big ship swallowing the small ship. They just did this in water.
Some of the finest Bond music in that film.
Yeah.
John Barry on top form. You Only Live Twice. Probably one of my favourite Bond films.
Yeah.
Romeo, 70 feet. Damn. That's not a miniature. Bigger than models they used for Minas
Tirith in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Thing is, though,
Stream Killer.
you know, the Nostromo in Alien, that was about 70 70 feet. It was huge, that model.
Yeah.
You can actually live in those. That is big enough to live in. You can fit like a bedroom, a bathroom, an engine, a living room.
Fucking that's huge. 70 feet. Wow. So we go. They've lost power and the boat's coming for them.
Why didn't they? They've lost the power. I was going to say, why didn't they launch a torpedo towards it?
They want to get them.
Further
They
away.
want to get the men out, though, don't they?
What do you mean? No, I'm talking about for God's. I'm talking about the sub. Why did it
Yeah,
launch
when
a
they
torpedo
launch it.
towards it?
I think they had a thing that blocked, or I don't know, something that blocked the instruments of the stopped the submarine, didn't it?
Yeah, just all the power just went out.
Yeah,
It was
all the
like
power
an
just went out,
electromagnetic
yeah.
thing just went
Yeah.
gone.
There was
That's
surely
why-
there was time when you see the bulb flashing away to say that. Well,
I guess. I don't know. It's a Bond film, isn't it?
split.
Well, yeah,
split
the
hairs at
film
this
would have
point.
ended quite quickly then, wouldn't it? So,
The
film's
Ryan
over,
Johnson
boys.
version.
So the film's over, boys and girls. Brian killed it. Okay, moving on.
Mission accomplished.
Well
You know
done.
what?
Verted.
Looper was on Netflix today, and I just couldn't bring myself to watch it because of Roundhead Ryan.
We're going to be doing Star Wars. What's that film called, Brian? Remind me.
The Rise of Skywalker,
Ooh, yay.
Well,
featuring Ruin Johnson.
Yeah, Ruin's going to be coming back for that one. We've been sitting on this show for a while, so that'll be up and coming over Easter roundabouts. Still to confirm dates, though, but that's up and coming. And I think we're going to do, once I've seen Star Trek The Motion Picture 4K, because I've been sitting on Star Trek The Motion Picture for quite a while now. So
what's that?
Yes. So what we will do is we will intermingle the slides from the normal version with the 4K version and make a show of it. So that'll be upcoming at some point. Ben, does Oscar know what Star Trek is?
Good question. Probably still not, but I can nag.
Are you enjoying Star Trek at the moment, Ben? I'll say yes. Then.
No. I'm trying to think if I even caught up on Picard yet. No, I've got a couple of episodes left to watch, I think. But I've got this huge Discovery review, which I'm on holiday this week, so I'm hoping to get that out next weekend. So I'll have all of this week to work on it. And then I'll have to turn my attention to Picard, which is just bad.
It appears to be turning into a musical at this point.
So I gather.
Or Queen, yeah. It's dog show, anyway. So this is Pinewood Studios, the $1 million set. How amazing is this?
And all I can think of when I see it is Austin Powers. Stream kill it.
It's a good set. It's a good set.
So this is where they insert a thing so they can talk to the crew. You've got to get out. Yeah.
They had to try and hide the major, didn't they?
Yeah. MC, awesome set. Yeah, $1 million, or as we said earlier, the equivalence of $5 million today. Would they spend $5 million on a set nowadays?
No.
Disney spent $3 million putting that fucking Thala siren flown in by a helicopter to Skellig Michael. I think they might. Everything goes back to fucking film.
If we was on this stream talking about what Close Encounters somehow, or I don't know, fucking name some. It always goes back to that.
It's the turd that won't flush, I'm afraid.
What?
I was having an argument with someone on Twitter. Well, I said someone about
Last
500
Jedi.
people on Twitter over AOC's healthcare policies in the United States, and that went back to The Last Jedi.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
it
Fucking
always goes back to the last fucking Jedi, no matter what it is.
fucking lunatic.
For the British people in the chat, if we was talking about the 80s soap opera Crossroads, it would somehow go back to the fucking Last Jedi. Fucking hell. Moving on. So they're disembarking. They've had it. They know they've got to get out. Control room, or everything.
Those switches that don't have any titles on them. Could be anything.
Yeah. And then the this reminds me of Flash Gordon, you know, the film when you get that big.
Oh yeah.
And also Star Wars.
Yeah, it was that bit where it says, "Stop, lizard man. Escape is." I can't remember the line.
Yeah.
Escape is
Yeah.
something impossible or whatever.
And there they are, the nuclear missiles.
The nuclear missiles.
Nuclear vessels.
Vessels. Yeah.
Time Prophet, Benioff Crossroads.
Yeah. He's not around, is he?
Paul Henry's still about, I think, yeah. Oh, here we go. See, Stephen Amore in the chat. Brian, for old times, you want to read it?
Stephen Amore in the chat says, Crossroads had a better script than The Last Jedi. I'm inclined to agree.
MC, well done, Miss Diane.
This Crossroads knew when to finish.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he did come back for a short period, didn't it? And then
It did.
went away again. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was all about Meg Richardson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And when
It's
they,
funny because they copied the Dallas storyline, didn't they? JR got shot and David got shot, didn't he? In Crossroads.
Yeah. Meg Richardson was the heart and soul of that program, and then when they got rid of her, that was it. Never mind.
Yeah.
So everybody has his lair and white plastic seats.
Mm.
And this is where they discover she's the Russian major.
And he doesn't kill her. He just basically wants her as a toy.
Yeah. Time Prophet Crossroads had some very wobbly sets, they did, mate.
Mm-hmm.
So you always get a big expedition dump, don't you, in a Bond film?
Exposition.
That's him.
Yeah. Blimey.
Instead of just killing them.
Tells them the plot.
Yeah.
Tells them what he's going to do. A beautiful world under the sea, he says.
Under the sea.
Yeah.
So the ship, the front doors are opening to release the subs because they're going on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And they're leaving. Miniature work with the Russian sub going out. Still looks good. The miniature.
Yeah, it does. It does look good.
Fantastic.
Mm.
And this does look real. Something looks real there.
The water.
Yeah. And he wants the major as a trophy, and he's off.
Well, he's a pervert, and
Yeah.
Of course he wants the major as a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he sold the major to one of the Beatles, didn't he?
Yeah.
Now she's his. See that there? See that shot there? That's basically, obviously it's a model, but you know what they used for the people inside the boat in that thing? They were action men.
No way.
Yes way.
Yes
Action men. They use action men in I don't know if there's a shot where before it lands into the water.
I mean that one.
Action Man. They're can you see it's Action Man? It's the one with the blonde hair and the one with the dark hair. Yeah. I've actually seen the actual model itself.
Wow.
It had 2 action men in there. Or 3 action men, I can't remember. But yeah, action men they used. Isn't that crazy?
That's the real thing.
Yep.
And Bond is fighting back.
He escapes.
Praise be the lad.
Who's he? Was he in Star Wars, this fella?
All were, weren't they? I don't know.
I think he was one of the was he the guy who says TK4, wind you at your post? Was it him? Can't remember. I don't know, maybe not.
The chat may know.
Looks familiar.
Shout the guy over his heads, and then he breaks in, and that's where he breaks into the barracks to release all the prisoners.
And he shoots those two guys in red.
Yeah.
And if this was Austin Powers, they'll have a scene in it where they're in the pub actually celebrating or celebrating the death of one of their colleagues. Do you remember? It was so funny.
It's working late at Dr. Evil's.
Yeah.
So the British captain, because obviously there'd be a Russian crew and the American crew in there.
Yeah.
So three crews. And
they raid the
amazing sets, the armory. Yeah.
The armory.
Such a fucking great set.
It's huge.
What would they do with that? Once they finish with the set, what would they do with it?
They take it down, they destroy it.
That's a stream killer.
But that's what they do. They take
sell
them down,
things on?
No. Well, I don't know, because in those days they used to just destroy it. I remember they destroyed. They destroyed the Millennium Falcon set, didn't they? And they were so sorry they did it because they didn't realize that the film was going to be so successful. So they had to rebuild it again, didn't they?
Oh, wow!
Imagine that big globe falling off and rolling around. It'd be like Indiana Jones, wouldn't it? Trying to escape it.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And they would have just. Would they have recycled any of it? Probably the metal.
I don't know. We'll just kind of destroy it all.
That's a shame, isn't it? Time Profit. I was watching Blake 7 today, and you can see the sticky tape holding the sets together. Much like Crossroads, mate. So, Armory.
As I recall, there was a really tense scene in this Bond film where you had to take the thing out, the nuke.
Yeah.
We had to disarm the nuke.
That,
yeah, it was quite tense.
We'll just go through all these kind of fighting scenes quickly. So never a Bond film unless if there's men flying through the air with rockets.
yeah, with that same scream sound effect.
Yeah, that Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, that's a good stunt.
Yeah, just amazing. None of this is miniature. That is. Captain gets it. He's gone.
Well, he dropped the hand grenade and it blows up.
I always remember, I think it was Stephen and Morale confirmed this. I think it was Clapperboard.
Yes,
in the 70s.
Was.
They were on set with this. And it looks incredible then. So miniature ships going up. So this is the plucky sidekick of the captain. He gets it through the big doors.
Young fella.
Yeah. So they go break through into the main control room because it's big, thick steel doors. So they need the nuclear detonator to take the door out, don't they? So here we go.
And if he touches the sides, it would go off.
Yeah. So back at the fortress, trophy wife. You're my wife now.
Dave.
So the captain of the ship is telling Strongberg that everything's under control. Or so they thought. Ben, were you a fan of the action scenes on these?
Yes and no. I mean, I think So some of them are more impressive than others were, and some of them I think Roger Moore is not quite as invested in as he otherwise might be. But they're generally entertaining. I've seen better in Bond. I've seen better of some in Bond anyway. Some of them are really good, but some of them less so.
So this is the tense scene Ian was talking about, where if they touch the sides, boom,
It would go off.
yeah. Number 6.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
Very tense.
So they get a detonator to match number 6.
And of course, a countdown was just lying around.
Oh, yes.
So you can tape it to the bomb.
What staggers me with this is the submarine in the middle would have not been real.
This is a model shot, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a good one, that is then. So Bond is going to go up on the gangway and get onto that camera, which we saw earlier. So he's above it.
I love the scene where he's on that thing and he pulls it and then the music stops.
Yeah. So they're looking for him and they can't see him because he's actually on the camera.
Mm.
Can't see him. And then the camera goes blank, doesn't it? Because he pulls the wire out.
He pulls it. Yeah, pulls the wire.
Yeah, Time Prophet. If that was a model shot, yeah, that was real. That was Ian. I'm positive.
No, it was a model shot. It's a model shot. You can tell by the fire. If you go back to that shot, you can tell with the fire in the shot. You can tell it's a model shot.
Time Prophet says, "How did they make that small fire?"
There are ways of doing that.
The thing is, even when the submarine pulled up, when the crew was on board and they got out, that was the real.
Yeah, it's real,
wasn't it?
It's real, yeah. But remember, it gets blown up, doesn't it? At the ending, so the whole of the place gets blown up, and the majority of the things that get blown up are models of that set. That shot was a model shot, I can tell. But anyway, don't take my word for it.
We won't. Okay, so the camera goes right up to the door, and it's stuck because you can see Bond there, and he's stuck, isn't he? And then they press some buttons behind the console in the control room to get things working again, and then he starts moving. Luckily, so you can just see him moving. Then boom, it goes up.
And they come in and shoot everybody.
You're too late, Bond. You're too late.
You're too late, Bond. Yeah, Bond's never too late.
I'm assuming some time must have elapsed because of the distances involved.
A bit, yeah, because they reprogrammed those two things to hit the.
Yeah. Unless if they're the fastest submarines ever. Because the one on the left has literally travelled up 3/4 of the Atlantic. But there you go. So here we go, timer. And here we go.
Oh, I love them.
Tracking system, everything labelled.
Yeah. That looks like a Commodore 64, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Great.
I like the old school buttons.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So quick crash course on computer programming. Yeah. Reprogrammed.
Brilliant.
So they fire on each other. That was the plan.
When I was a kid, I thought they wanted to get the missiles to hit each other. And when they passed each other, I was like, bloody hell, they failed.
I hate to say this, but so did I when I watched it today. I was like, no. Yeah, just this time.
Yeah.
These people look like Street Fighter, the Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Colonel Bison or Bison, I don't know.
But they're Stromberg's men, aren't they? So they got red. They're wearing red.
Yeah. So submarines are off. Fidel Castro there. cameo. Can you see that, Ben? Fidel Castro doing a cameo. And time is nigh. Here we go. Oh, lovely minute
Model.
shots.
Yeah, miniature shot.
Time prophet Elon Musk. Yeah, I tweeted him, mate.
There they go.
Yeah, this is the most dramatic scene in the film. Just watching those two little white drops move.
Oh no!
The tension.
That's what I thought when I was watching it. I was like, "Oh no, they failed! Damn it!" And then, yeah.
See, Ben, that's proper filmmaking there.
Oh no, I completely agree. I mean, you don't need to see this thing in huge sort of glamorous special effects with actual missiles flying through the air. You can accomplish much more dramatic effect by this.
It's funny how now people are realizing that the Academy Awards is absolute crap, and real films are these kind of movies, not art house. I mean, was that The Power of the Dog, where I don't know anyone that's watched that film that won Best Director, for God's sakes. I know loads of people that watched Spider-Man Homecoming, though. Oh, not Homecoming. The Spider-Man, what was it? No Way Home.
Killjoy in the chat. Radar does not work like this.
Well, it's a movie, innit? You can forgive it because it's a Bond movie.
I mean, Lotus Esprits don't actually go underwater.
No.
Yeah. Look at that.
Here it is.
Amazing.
Boom.
And stock photography, everybody.
Footage, yeah, it was quite jarring, wasn't it?
Do you like that?
In those days, they couldn't do computer graphics to actually simulate that, could they?
At least it was in colour. Boom. There you go. That's your Ukraine, everybody. Sad, but true.
Bond's happy that he's averted World War III.
Yeah, miniature.
But he has another problem. To get off the boat before it blows to Kingdom Come.
70-foot model. Just incredible, isn't it? And this is where the set gets blown up.
That's right.
And they've got to get out, so they've got to use a torp to blow the doors. See, that's real.
Of course it is.
So they would have built that submarine. It's just incredible.
Yeah, just the top half of it, though. Not all of it, just the top half.
Just mind-blowing. The scale of work gone on that.
And so that's a model.
What is it, Brian? So, examples. So you've got Spy Who Loved Me. And how much did this spend on the the Filer Siren?
What?
$3 million.
Yeah, Last Jedi. That animal.
$3 million.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a model.
Yeah, it's definitely a model. You can tell by the fire.
Yeah. Killjoy in the chat. That's a model. So
Stephen Amore, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's just Tony Brown said that.
Stephen Amore, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Fire.
Yeah.
Boom. Model.
I suppose Derek Meddin's. This is just food and drink to him, isn't it?
No, Derek Meddins was he was one of the best model makers, and he's been doing it for a very long. He did it for a very long time. I think the last film he did was GoldenEye.
Just brilliant. Work of a genius. Obviously, this is a model, but it looks great. There you go. Real.
He has to go and rescue what's her face, Anya.
Yeah.
Anya.
It's only been because the governments are basically going to nuke. They're going to destroy it, aren't they? They're going to. He's been given orders here to just take it out. And
But
he
Q
asked
sent
for
him
an
something,
hour.
didn't he?
Yeah, he's asked for an hour, hasn't he, to rescue her?
Mm.
So he
Yep.
goes, "Oh, I could probably get court-martial for this." So, being a good guy, he says, "Okay, you got an hour." Then here we go. These were not seen. These were totally new at the time. It said on the
They were, yeah,
trivia.
they were. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what could it be?
And Roger Moore actually drove him
Look at that.
in the water. Yeah.
I always wanted one of those when I was younger for some reason, like a jet ski. But they're a
He
lot
said
of
he had a
fun.
whale of a time. He said
Yeah.
he had a whale of a time driving them. Yeah.
I bet they're so much fun. Ben, have you got one for the longboat?
Sadly not, no. Would look good going down a canal, though.
Yeah, it'd be great to have something like that.
All
so
this
Bond is
time
going to rescue, yeah.
Yeah, wondering where Jaws is all this time. When I was a kid, I was like, where's Jaws gone? You can come up by the left. Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
Been expecting you, Mr. Bond.
Bond, yeah.
Quick Spielberg shots.
Lovely tie.
Yeah. So he's pressing the button for the bottom of the lift.
And he says, well, you did want me to drop in.
Yeah.
He says, you're running out of time, Stromberg. Yours too, Mr. Bond.
Killjoy in the chat. The brakes don't work on a jet ski. Cheers, Killjoy. So this is a very, 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 very big barrel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
But poor Roger Moore got hurt, didn't he, on this scene?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he didn't come off the chair fast enough. So he got splinters in his arse, apparently.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Spielberg shot in the background as well. And woof, there you go.
Boom. You shot your last boat, Stromberg. Now it's my turn.
Again, Killjoy in the chat. The lift has a design flaw. Yes.
Good God.
It's the element of surprise that makes it work.
Yeah. So
shoots him in the balls.
He did play this very well.
He's got nice champagne and what's he eating there? He's got some hot sauce. He's got some hot sauce as well.
He's eating oysters.
Tabasco sauce. Yep.
Tabasco sauce.
Product placement there.
Shoots him in the balls.
I mean, look at that.
Shoot him in the chest. Then he's dead.
Yeah, quite brutal, really, when you think about it. Because he walks off and just shoots him again, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Right. So this is where he's trying to find the major, and look who it is.
Yours. Escape chamber.
Yeah, just to let us know. There's a way out.
Excellent. It's so funny.
See, if that was Disney Star Wars, you'd have 15 novels to explain that, wouldn't you, Ben?
Well, yes, but then you'd probably have another 500 novels to explain the rest of what's happened in this film.
Yeah.
Shoots him in the teeth.
Yeah. Good shot.
Shot him in the teeth.
Let's shoot him in one place where he's completely invulnerable.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think they knew at this point that he was coming back?
Yeah, well,
because the audiences loved him, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they
must have done, though, because they had that end scene when he's swimming away and he's clearly not dead.
That was shot later, yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, the stuntman of Jaws said to Cubby Broccoli, "You've got to get him back."
Vic
And
Armstrong.
then the test audiences just were cheering, weren't they, at Jaws?
Well, the reason why he was a hero in Moonraker is because loads of kids wrote in
Yeah.
to him, Union Productions, saying that they want Jaws back and they want him to be a hero.
And he
They
was.
relented.
Saved the day, yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go, big set.
How's that
With a
grab
magnet.
ya?
Yeah.
He has controls and madness.
Yeah. Magnets.
Yeah. How's that grab ya?
It's funny, it goes from controls that have buttons with absolutely nothing on it to explicit revelations of what these other buttons actually are.
Yeah. Time Prophet or Killjoy in the chat. I would have shot him in the balls.
Well, it's a movie.
Time Prophet also comes up with another complete stream killer just above that. Oh, he's right, I'm afraid.
Moving on. Okay.
Jaws versus Jaws.
Yeah.
Drops him in the water. Shark tries to eat
shark.
him and he eats the
Comes
shark.
Small. Yeah. I wonder what Spielberg was thinking when he saw this.
Spielberg loved this film. He loved it. It was absolutely terrific.
Yeah. Poor shark.
Gonna blow it up.
Yeah. So we've got a few minutes left.
I wonder who dressed her then.
The top is on its way. Blood in the water. Bang. There you go. Because he's been more than an hour, hasn't he? So there's, as with most Bond films of this era, you've got to blow the sets up. So it's starting to list. There we go. It's going down. And here we go. Escape chamber. Button not working. There is a hatch somewhere there. Killjoy in the chat. Wouldn't a torpedo go underneath the base?
Oh, nice shot there. Lovely shot.
I did this for you, Ian. This took me a few attempts to get this shot spot on.
Looks like she's pegging him there with a strap on.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
That would happen in a modern Bond film.
Yeah.
James Cook. We'll just leave that on for a moment. Just take that in, boys and boys. Okay. Moving on.
Now you're all finished. Moving on.
Yeah. Gotta get rid of the Kleenex.
Even though she can't act, I can see why they wanted her for the film.
I don't know. She's all right looking.
All right. Yeah, I thought to be honest, I thought she was okay in it. She seemed to kind of get better as the film went on. Obviously, that would be because she'd be getting better at acting, but blah, blah, blah. So they're in the escape pod.
What kind of escape pod is that then?
A very well stocked bar.
You can't move around in there, can you?
It's in the escape chamber. So pressing to release it. Here we go. Miniatures.
Another miniature.
And compliment Strongberg on his, was it Dom Perignon, whatever it was. Product placement, by the way. And then she's got to kill him because the mission is over. This was really good, this was at the end. Come on, Ben, this was good. You got to admit, it was funny, wasn't it?
It was funny. I will admit that it was funny, yes.
Here we go.
And the champagne pops. Pop. God, James Bond's so charming that even makes her forget about him killing the man that she loved.
Yeah, she moves on quick, doesn't she?
Yeah. Then again, he did save her life, I guess.
You don't think it's problematic, Ben?
No, I mean it suggests that maybe she just like never liked the guy very much. Maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't much to get over.
It's Roger Moore, though, isn't it?
Or maybe it was just Roger Moore. Yeah.
It's Roger Moore. And then he goes, one last wish, isn't it? A condemned man gets one last wish. And he goes, what's it? Get out of these wet clothes.
And they both do.
Yep. There we go. So they get it on.
Jaws is alive.
Yep. Okay, so there's not many slides to go. So I'll ask for the thoughts from the panel, and then we'll kind of finish off, boys and girls. Not Brian, thoughts about the film?
Well, it's, as you know, I'm not a massive Bond fan, but this was a fun film, action-packed. Good performances from Sir Roger and Chord Jurgens. Good cinematography for the most part. Some great shots. Some nice slappy dialogue, if a bit corny. But I think the excessive smut kind of dragged it down a bit for me. Overall, I prefer Connery's slightly more serious take on the character, but Moore's comedic chops just make this version work.
Ben, thoughts?
Yeah, largely agree. I think it's got the best and some of the worst of this era of Bond in it. I think like the slightly excessive smut does get a little bit irritating, but there's plenty of humor to make up for it. I like the fact that it's consciously and knowingly cheesy about a lot of the stuff that it does. It ups the stakes dramatically over what went before, and in some ways that really does work. In other ways, though, you do kind of miss the slightly more somber and serious stories of. I mean, even Man with the Golden Gun is a more somber and serious story, despite the plot of that being a guy with some super weapon to cause global warming and kill the world, which is not very somber and serious anyway. But the only other thing is that I think they sort of fell into a routine with this one, because I think as we mentioned at the beginning, you've got this film, and then straight after this you have Moonraker, which is exactly the same film but in space with a bigger budget. And it establishes itself as a kind of routine for Bond, which it was for the best that they got out of it when they did and went back to a slightly more real type of story. But they've now gone too far, obviously, with the modern Bonds and making it uber realistic and not at all entertaining. But overall, good fun film, good old-fashioned entertainment, unashamedly corny, and the kind of thing we could probably do with more of.
Yeah, I think we need fun films nowadays. We don't seem to be getting them. Ian, thoughts?
Just really enjoyable. I mean, there's not much. Everybody said what I was thinking. It's just really enjoyable. Roger Moore is the best thing about this James Bond film. The theme is fantastic. The stunts are really good. It's corny. It's silly. It's funny. It's enjoyable and a good romp. And I would go as far as to say that this film is a piece of art, and it should be appreciated for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, as I said, I gave it an extra mark on the Internet Movie Database today. It made me chuckle in places, because I just think Roger Moore was on fire on this one.
I just hate pretentious people when they would take one film and say it's better than another. But if something's well made and entertaining and and hits all the spots, and generally talks to the majority of people, in the cinema goers, then it should be appreciated for that. Because it's a commercial film and it's made a shitload of money, it shouldn't be, chucked down into the depths of it was only a Bond film. Do you know what I mean?
While this is a good film, it's no The Last Jedi, is it, Ryan?
Yeah, but it's definitely a kind of, I wouldn't exactly say cultural landmark, but it does have a pretty strong cultural significance. This one, especially, I think.
Yeah. What's the line he's saying here? Keeping
the British end up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And then you get the nobody does it better campy bit.
Yeah.
And then
It says for
There
your
you
eyes,
go.
for your eyes only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake news for you.
Well, I mean,
what's the story behind that, Ian? For the
because
boys
Star
and
Wars
girls?
came out, isn't it? And they, kids they love Star Wars, so they decided to do James Bond in space, and that's what they did. So, but you know what? If you're watching the Bond series, you can always watch Three Eyes Only after this one. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. So for the, I will just say then for the boys and girls in the chat, marks out of 10 for this, boys in the chat. So I will start, and I will give this 8 out of 10, and that was up marked from 7. So chat, if you want to give us your mark before we go, Ian, give us a mark out of 10.
9.
Wow.
Yeah. Only because it's part of my childhood, you know, and it means quite a lot to me. This film. So,
Lost Chord.
I'm veering between 6 and 7, if only because there are other Bond films that I like more. And
7. It's worth 7 all day long. Man.
Okay, we'll go with 7.
Yeah, it is worth 7 all day long. And I'm not trying to influence you, but it is. Trust me. Time Profits, Killjoy, 10 out of 10. Me, 9 out of 10. Wookie, 69, 9 out of 10. MC, 9. Ben's Mark, 7 out of 10. Stephen, 7. Yeah, it is. This film is a 7 all day long, but as I said, it made me smile today, so I upmarked it. Brian?
I almost feel like giving it two different scores. One for
I
its.
thought you were going to say 2. Sorry.
So,
it'd have been booted off if
pause.
you had.
One for it being a Bond film, and one for it being just a film in general. I would say probably general film 7, as a Bond film 8.
Yeah, that's fair, mate. Yeah. So, Brian, 8. Okay. I think that concludes our business. I will just say to everybody in the chats, 2 hours 45, I think, is a good result considering how many slides I had. We are back tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to do the musings and chew the fat of what's going on this week. So that will be at about 10:30 for about an hour. Ben, you're available for that one, aren't you?
I should be, yeah.
Ian, you fancy an hour chewing the fat tomorrow?
Sure, why not?
Brian, you're around, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be doing the musings tomorrow. If you've enjoyed the show, boys and girls, please leave a comment in the comment section, because the channel is, for some reason, getting ghosted. Nobody's picking up on anything. So apparently YouTube likes comments and stuff just to let them know people are watching. So I think that is it. As I said, musings tomorrow. As always, we are nothing without the chat. You've been great, guys. I think that is it. Film, if I start again, film next week. We don't know yet. Depends on scheduling. At some point, we're going to be doing Star Trek the Motion Picture, hopefully. So I think that's it. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.